Good evening, Ramana Garu.
Good evening, Mr. Srinivasan.
Last session, you had introduced some very nice concepts from the book Narayani.
Yeah.
And since it was in Telugu, a large public are not able to get the knowledge out of that book. You have done a wonderful job in breaking the code of that book. You introduced very new concepts of Konadipati dosha and sun as the longevity factor. So we are all very eager to hear more from you from that book.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It will be a nice study of the book. Basically, because most of the times we are, experiencing, different results for different planets for different people, and the planets are giving results which are not expected.
Yes.
Isn't it? So many of such things, many of such doubts or confusions will be cleared once anyone is thorough with these principles. And as I already said in my earlier video, first video, the author has gone through almost 60,000 horoscopes. So basically, that is the reason he could able to evolve a system which was there earlier but was not very much used by many of the astrologers. Okay. And he has brought out many things, rather Gemini or Parashari principles which are working, which are not working. So those of course will be knowing in a series of videos, but initially we will start with the classification of what planets as benefics and malefics, and a lot of emphasis has been given by the author to deal with the nature of planets per se, because as per him, the nature of planet, either benefic or malefic, will change or modify depending on 2-3 different aspects.
Right.
Okay. One is the ownership.
Yeah.
Ownership in a particular nativity and its position. And the third one is conjunction. Okay. Yeah. And the last one which he has given, I have not given here purposely because the ownership and position will give one particular result. Position and conjunction will give one result. And the combination of planets, again, their position will give another result.
So here he is not bringing aspects into play yet.
Aspects, this particular thing, it is not discussed here, but in his book he has discussed about the aspects, the regular Parashari aspects.
Okay.
Like, every planet has 7th aspect, and Jupiter, then Mars and Saturn has special aspects.
Yeah.
The special aspects are more powerful than the normal aspects. So all these things, of course, he has dealt with in the normal way.
Okay.
But especially for understanding the benefic or malefic nature of the planets, he has dealt with exhaustively because that is forming the basis for his book.
Okay.
Okay. So let us go start with some basics.
Yeah.
Very, very fundamental things, So what are the benefic planets? Everybody knows it. Jupiter, Venus, strong moon, and unaffected Mercury. Okay. So Jupiter and strong moon are 100% benefics. Okay. Venus is 75% benefic and Mercury is 50% benefic.
Here when you say strong moon, there are many ways people take it. In his book, how does he take it?
So strong moon means moon which is away 72 degrees from sun.
Okay, on either side.
Either ahead or behind.
Okay.
Okay. Then Mercury 50% benefic. That is the reason Mercury takes the shape of the planet which is conjoined with if he is not independent.
Yeah.
So Mercury's benefic or malefic nature depends on the conjunction or aspect of other planets.
Right.
Therefore, it is considered as 50% benefic.
Yeah.
Okay. Then malefic planets are Sun, Saturn, Mars, Rahu and Ketu. Saturn is considered Purna Papi, that is 100% malefic. Mars is considered 75% malefic, and Sun is considered 50% malefic. The reason behind Sun considered 50% malefic is only a single house.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Whereas Saturn and Mars, they both own 2 houses each. So their benefic or malefic nature depends on the lordship of 2 houses.
Yeah.
Whereas Sun has only 1 house and is because he's a royal planet, he is considered as 50% malefic.
Okay.
Similar to the benefic and malefic nature of the planets, Rasis also are categorized as benefics and malefics. The normal way, what we categorize Rasis is 1, 3, 5, all odd signs are malefic and all even signs are benefic. Whereas there is a slight variation given by Sri Vadaraja Suryanaramurthy Garu. See, from now onwards, for the purpose of convenience, I will just say VSN Murthy instead of giving the full name. Right?
Okay.
So Sri VSN Murthy Garu, he has given a slight variation considering the natural zodiac, and the Rasis owned by malefics are considered malefic Rasis, and the Rasis which are owned by benefics, natural benefics, are considered as natural benefic signs.
In this case, when Moon is not a benefic and Mercury is not a benefic, will the Rashis be beneficial?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So the position of Moon, benefic or malefic, depends on their conjunction or the strength of the Moon. Okay. Otherwise, it is normally considered as benefic as per the Rasi concept is concerned.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
The benefic houses are Kendras 1, 4, 7, 10. In the brackets are given, that is 10th house is most powerful Kendra house compared to 7th, 4th and 1st house.
Yeah.
So there is a reason 10th house is called the zenith point. Okay. And Konas also similarly, they are powerful in the increasing order. 9th house is the most powerful or most benefic Kona house. Similarly, the malefic houses are also in the sequence, in the increasing order. 3, 6, 8, 12. 12th house is the most powerful malefic house in a particular chart.
Okay.
And coming to the 2nd and 11th houses. 2nd and 11th houses, the peculiarity of this particular author is he has not dealt much about the 2nd and 11th houses. Just some places he has mentioned that 2nd and 11th houses are neutral houses. Whereas elsewhere he has taken 11th house as a malefic house also. That will be coming to see in the next, subsequent slides. Okay. However, 2nd house is considered as a neutral house only.
Okay.
Okay. And their benefic or malefic nature will be decided based on the lordship of other houses which planet owns.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions up to this?
No, absolutely clear.
Okay. Now we will go to the basic concepts of Kendradipati dosha and Konadipati dosha.
Yeah.
These concepts, as it is, everybody is aware of. Kendradipati dosha is benefic planet owning the Kendra will have the blemish of Kendradipati dosha. As simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay. Then similarly, there is another concept called Konadipati dosha, which is much less discussed in any of the astrological books. But in this particular book, Sri VSN Murthy Garu has discussed exhaustively about the Konadipati dosha.
Have you seen any practicing astrologer use it? I haven't seen, at least.
See, once, I, as an astrologer and at the same time as a student, I have the habit of visiting some senior astrologers.
Mm.
Okay, so I have visited a senior astrologer who is of almost 85 years old.
Mm.
So I sat with him for 1 hour to see how he's analyzing the charts. One thing, astonishingly, I found that he has kept a Xerox copy of the Jataka Narayaniam with him,
Mm-hmm.
and he is verifying each and every principles. According to that, he is giving the delineation.
Mm-hmm.
So then I realized the importance of this particular book.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah. Now coming back to benefic planets, the benefic planets will have the Kendradipati, the lordship of a Kendra house in different ways. One is the second and seventh lordship. As for Aries, Venus is the second and seventh lord.
Yeah.
Kendra and Kona lordship. For Aquarius Lagna, Venus is the Kendra and Kona lord.
Yeah.
Lordship of two Kendras. As for Gemini Lagna, Jupiter is the lord of 7th and 10th house.
Yeah.
Okay. The lordship of malefic house and a Kendra house. As for Leo, Venus is the lord of a 3rd house and a 10th house.
Yeah. Here you have not taken for Moon 4th house. Is it intentional? Similarly for Sagittarius Lagna and Pisces Lagna, Mercury having two Kendra houses.
No, it is not intentional. Just to understand or put the point, make the viewers understand how the second and seventh lordship will come. I just taken an example.
Okay.
As you said, for Aries Lagna, Moon is considered as is the 4th lord. It should be taken.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now I'll just slightly go back to the previous slide.
Yeah.
Now, please, look at the point number 5. The Kendras are powerful, as I said, in the increasing order 1, 4, 7, 10.
Yeah.
This particular aspect has to be borne in mind and emphasized, because when a benefic planet having the lordship of a 10th Kendra will be more malefic compared to a benefic planet having the lordship of 7th, 4th or 1st house.
Understood.
Okay. This aspect should be remembered, because the maleficence or beneficence of a benefic planet will be decided based on the lordship of a Kendra. Which lordship is, which Kendra is owning.
Okay.
Okay. Similarly for the Konadipatis also, malefic Kona lords.
Yeah.
The 9th ownership, ownership of the 9th house for a malefic will be more malefic when compared to the 5th or 1st house.
Understood.
Okay. Yeah. Now, planet having Kendradipati dosha, if posited in a Kendra or Kona, becomes more malefic. Because a planet having a Kendradipati dosha is considered as malefic.
Yeah.
Therefore, if he is going to a good house, when we say good house, again I will go back to slightly to the previous slide. Point number 5, benefic houses are 1, 4, 7, 10 and 5, 9. And a planet having the blemish of Kendradipati dosha, if he is located in a benefic house, it is going to spoil the house.
Yeah.
Okay. If conjoined with a planet having Kendradipati dosha, will have the potency to give avayoga. Maybe in those particular benefic signs.
Okay.
Suppose if a benefic planet has gone to, malefic planet, Kendradipati dosha planet going to a Kendra or a Kona house and conjoined with a planet having Kendradipati dosha, it has the, it will be more malefic and it will give avayoga to the chart.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Let us proceed. Otherwise, if the planet is, the benefic planet having Kendradipati dosha, if he is posited in 3, 6, 8, 11 and 12, it gives good yoga.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a malefic planet going to malefic sign or malefic house.
Yeah.
It is going to act as a benefic and give good yoga.
Yeah.
A little bit extension to this, if conjoined with the lords of 3, 6, 8, 11, 12, they become more benefic.
Understood. So if they conjoin with the lords of 3, 6, 8, 11 and 12 in 3, 6, 8, 11 and 12, it will be better?
Better.
Yeah.
Better. Even otherwise also, if they have the aspect, here we, normally we consider the position aspect in conjunction.
Yeah.
Even if a benefic planet positioned in 3, 6, 8, 11, 12, and anyway connected to the 3, 6, 8, 11, 12 lots will give very good result.
Yeah.
Not only conjunction,
Yeah.
even otherwise also.
Understood.
Yeah, here. Now, I mean, this particular 14th point has to be, I mean, given a bit of importance because natural benefic becomes the Lord of Kendra first and Lord of 3, 6, 8, 11 or 12th house.
Yes.
If you take, I'll just give an example. You take Cancer Lagna, Venus is the 4th Lord, that is a Kendra Lord first. And he also has the ownership of the Taurus, it becomes 11th house.
Yes.
Okay. So you visualize that particular example and read this particular point, point number 14.
Correct.
Natural benefic becomes the Lord of a Kendra first and 3, 6, 8, 11 or 12th house next and posited in a Kendra or Kona gives good yoga. But if placed in 3, 6, 8, 11 or 12th houses does not give good yoga. Because here it's very important. I request the viewers to be careful enough while analyzing this particular point.
Yeah.
Because the lordship of Kendra has come first. Then the lordship of the Kona, I mean the malefic house has come next.
Yes.
So when such a situation is arisen, the blemish of Kendradipati dosha is nullified because of having the lordship of a malefic house.
Yes. Understood.
Therefore, the benefic planet, instead of acting as a malefic, having the ownership of a Kendra, he becomes benefic.
Understood.
So, such a benefic, going to a Kendra or Kona is going to give good result. And if he is posited in 3, 6, 8, 11, 12, he is going to give malefic result.
Understood.
It's slightly, very, trickish issue.
Yeah.
This has to be understood.
Understood.
I think it is amply clarified in point number 15.
Yeah.
See, if a benefic planet becomes the Lord of 3, 6, 8, 11, 12th house first, then happens to be the Lord of Kendra and posited in a Kendra does not give good result. Here an example can be taken of Leo Lagna. Again take the same case of Venus. It becomes the Lord of 3rd house and 10th house.
Understood.
So the sequence which matters is the first lordship and the second lordship.
Understood.
Okay. So in case of Leo Lagna, Venus is going to be malefic, whereas in case of Cancer Lagna, the Venus is going to become benefic because he got the lordship of a malefic house next in sequence.
Correct. Understood.
Okay. Then let us go to the next point. Benefic planet becomes the lord of second house, then Kona house. And posited in second house gives good result rather than placement in Kona house. This we can take Virgo for Venus again.
Understood.
Okay. Then benefics if become lords of 3, 6, 8, 11 or 12 and posited in a Kendra or Kona will give very good yoga. If they are placed in 3, 6, 8, 11 or 12 gives mediocre results.
So here we can interpret that the benefic remains a benefic.
Benefic remains a benefic because it doesn't own a Kendra.
Yes.
So benefics as lords of 3, 6, 8, 11, 12 going to a benefic house.
Yeah.
Okay. However, if they are placed in those houses, because these houses are functionally malefic houses, though the ownership of a benefic is there, he will also not sustain his beneficence if he is placed in these houses.
Understood.
Now, as regards Kendra and benefic planets, we have discussed. I think we will go to the malefic planets now. So till now, if you have anything to ask me, you can, or you have any questions.
No, it's very clear.
Very clear. Okay. Now, let us go to the Konadipati dosha. Initially, we said malefic planets, if they are lots of konas, they become malefic. So, here also, as in the case of benefic planets, we have to see, it is to be seen, malefic planet is first the lord of a Kendra and then a Kona, or lord of a Kona and then a Kendra. Natural malefic lord of a Kendra first and then Kona becomes more malefic. Here also the sequence matters.
Understood.
Libra Lagna, if you take, Saturn is the 4th and 5th lord. Sequentially, the Kona lordship has come second. That prevails.
Understood.
So the first Kendra lordship is nullified and the Kona lordship prevails. Therefore, it becomes malefic planet. Though for Libra Lagna and Leo Lagna, Mars and Saturn and Mars are respectively Yogakarakas if they are positioned in Kendras and Konas. As they have become malefics because of their ownership of a Kona, second in sequence,
Yes.
they are going to give malefic results.
Understood.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
If a malefic is placed in Kendra and Kona, he gives more malefic results.
Correct.
The point which I have explained just.
Yes.
Okay. If Kendra or Kona happens to be his own house, it becomes more malefic.
Perfect.
That means, take Libra Lagna, position Saturn in 4th house, Aquarius, Capricorn. So for Libra Lagna person, Saturn positioned in Capricorn will give malefic results.
Yeah. Even if he's placed in Aquarius also, he'll give bad results.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because Kendra or Kona,
Yes.
so both places he gives bad results.
Yeah.
Okay. If such a malefic is placed in 3, 6, 8, 11 or 12, second house, he gives good results. That means, here again, the point to be noted is malefic planet going to a malefic sign or malefic house is going to give good results.
Yeah.
Even if it is a debilitated sign. Therefore, especially this point, please note this point, for Libra Lagna, if Saturn is placed in 7th house in a debilitation sign, it gives best results for Libra Lagna.
Understood.
Natural malefic lord of a Kona first and then Kendra, he becomes benefic.
Yeah.
Okay. This you can take for Taurus Lagna, again the case of Saturn, and
Yeah.
Cancer Lagna, again we can refer Mars.
Yeah.
Because first they become the lord of a Kona, then they become the lord of a Kendra.
Yeah.
In such a case, the second lordship prevails, so they become benefic planets.
Yeah.
Okay. So if such a malefic, that means the malefic planet which has turned into a benefic,
Yes.
if he is placed in a Kendra or Kona, he gives good results.
Yeah.
So comparatively, the position in Kendra gives more good results than a Kona.
Okay.
Okay. So if the Kendra is owned by a natural malefic planet, it's more beneficial.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the planet is debilitated, again you take this. If the planet is debilitated, it will give even more beneficial results. That means, so to say, for malefic planets, debilitation is the best place.
Very clear.
Okay. And if such a planet is conjoined with a malefic planet who is a Kendra lord, the planet becomes a strong benefic. Here, what happened? First, the malefic planet has turned into a benefic.
Yes.
By ownership of 9th and 10th house or 5th and 9th houses, or 4th and 10th house,
Yeah.
5th and 10th houses.
Yeah.
So once he has become benefic, again if he is conjoined with a malefic planet owning a Kendra,
Who has again become a benefic.
so So malefic planet becoming a Kendra Lord is a benefic.
Yes.
Again, a malefic turned into benefic. Both these two planets are conjoined. The effect will be a strong benefic results for the native.
Understood. Very clear.
If the Kendra or Kona happens to be his own house, he gives very good yoga. Here, see the variation. Go back to the previous slide. So, point number 21, here the planet has become malefic, and if he's placed in his own house, he's going to become more malefic.
Correct.
Coming to the next one, here the malefic planet has turned into a benefic planet if he's placed in a Kona or Kendra, which happens to be his own house. It gives good yoga.
Very clear.
Okay. Natural malefic planet, if owns 3, 6, 8, 11, 12 houses and placed in any of these houses, they cannot give good results. Does it require an explanation?
No.
Okay. So if the planet is exalted, it gives more avayoga.
Yes.
Again, see, each and every place the author is putting forward that exaltation is a bad sign for a malefic planet.
So corollary is that for benefics, exaltation is very good and debilitation is very bad.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. If such a planet is posited in a Kendra or Kona, he gives good results. Okay. So if the malefic planet owning 3, 6, 8, 11, 12, if he is placed in a Kendra or Kona, he is going to give good results. Then, natural malefic planet owns a second house and a Kendra house.
Okay.
The nativity, and posited in a Kendra or Kona, he gives good results naturally, because here I think I'll take an example of Libra Lagna. Mars. Mars is a lord of the second and seventh house. So when we started our discussion initially, we said the second house benefic or malefic nature will be dependent on the second lordship of a planet. So if you take this particular example, second house for Libra Lagna and seventh house owned by Mars. So second house has no independent existence except it depends on the second lordship of the planet. Now a malefic planet owning a Kendra is a benefic.
Yeah.
Therefore, because he is a Kendra lord, he is a benefic, here the second house also becomes benefic.
Understood.
Okay. So such a planet, if he is placed in a Kendra or Kona, he gives good results.
Yeah.
But again, it is emphasized, exaltation is a avayoga. If he is debilitated, he is going to give good results.
Very clear.
Okay. So natural malefic planet owns second and a Kona. So this happens in the case of Pisces Lagna. Mars becomes the second and ninth lord.
Yeah.
Okay. And in a posited in a house, posited in a Kendra or Kona is bad.
Yeah, because it becomes a bad.
By ownership, ninth house ownership, it became bad. Therefore, the second house also becomes bad.
Yeah.
Natural malefic planet is a lot of the second house or 11th house and placed in a Kendra or Kona gives good results. Because second and 11th houses do not have independent existence. So, the lords also depends on their placement. If he is placed in a Kendra or Kona, he is going to give good results. And especially this is good for Dhana Yoga.
Yeah. Virtually what it means is here you say a natural malefic planet, if it is a lord of second or 11th house, is a benefic.
Yes, yes.
That's what is understood.
Provided he is placed in Kendra or Kona.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Natural malefic planet owns second house and another house. Any other house. Okay. If you take the Sagittarius Lagna, the second and third house is owned by Saturn.
Yeah.
Okay. The benefic or malefic nature of the second house depends on the second lordship.
Yeah.
Okay, that means again is emphasizing the second house as do not have any independent position in a chart.
Yes.
Okay. Natural malefic owning a Kendra and a malefic house. Kendra and a malefic house. And posited in a Kendra or Kona gives good results. Okay. So, but these places should not be exaltation signs for the natural malefic.
So here, natural malefic owning a Kendra, he actually becomes a benefic there. And he
Malefic
also
there.
owns a malefic house.
Malefic house. See, owning a Kona is malefic for malefic planet.
Yes.
If he is owning Kendra houses and other houses, he is going to be a benefic one.
Okay. That is key. Understood.
Therefore, here is the double benefic because he is owning a Kendra and a malefic house also.
Okay.
If he is placed in Kendra and Kona, good houses, then he is going to give good results. Except for exaltation signs.
Understood.
Now, I just made it a simple mathematical formula just for easy remembrance. Plus into plus is equal to plus, plus into minus is equal to minus, minus into minus is equal to plus. That means a positive planet going to a positive house gives positive result.
Yeah.
Positive planet, that means benefic planet going to a negative malefic sign, it gives malefic results. Malefic planet going to a malefic house becomes benefic. So this particular formula will get, will be modified if we take up the conjunctions also.
Yes.
Okay. I think I have finished today's presentation. If you have any questions, you can feel free.
No, it's very clear. Basically, what he's talking about is how a planet changes its character based on whether it gets a Kendra or a Kona first and what other things he has. It will become much more clearer when we take it ascendant by ascendant, when we start applying these rules. Then it will become very clear for us. But the principle wise, it is very clear. It was taken out in a nice fashion, so it will be easy for us to understand, especially since all the rules have been numbered as well.
Yeah. And as I said, when we take up Lagna wise, and each planet we take and start applying one after the other rule, and we'll position the planets in a particular sign and see whether these principles are getting converged into the placements of planets.
Absolutely.
Then it will be very easily understood. And I request all the viewers to go through the video carefully, try to understand the principles. Then when we take up the Lagna-wise positioning of planets, this particular video will form the basis for them to understand the positioning of planets there.
Really, because many a times we grapple as to what exactly a planet is doing. Some people say you should take the Mula Trikona sign, that is will be its role when it is having dual ownership. Some people say the more the Ashtavarga points, that will be its predominant role. Whereas here he is coming up with a new concept. So once we start applying it on charts, it will become very, very clear.
Definitely.
So thanks a lot for the first opening session where a lot of basics and foundations has been said. And I assume that once we get into ascendant by ascendant, further nuances will come in, which will make it clear for all of us.
Yeah, thank you.